Howdy Howlers, it's Sako Toomey, also known as Cass Voigt. I write horror, and I'm a witch, and I'm a graphic designer, and sometimes I combine those three things. So if you are looking to market yourself as an author, or you're looking to be a witch or a witch, please drop by my channel. I have videos galore. I do this every morning. Just sometimes I do sprints. I'll probably do sprints today, probably. So I'm going to talk about altars today, as in to have an altar, to pray at an altar. That's what I meant. Hi, Christina. Good to see you, love. How are you doing this morning? How are you doing? Pardon. It is cold this morning. 37 degrees outside right now. It's cold this morning. Altars. Gotta get back to work, but have a good stream. Thank you. Have a good one, Sage. Hope you're productive. Hi, Debbie. How you doing this morning? Good. Had a bit of a rough time leaving my bed, but I'm up and ready to kick today's ass anyway. Awesome. I had a night full of nightmares, so I'm under-rested. I think I need to refresh my wards. Lots of nightmares. Woke up at 7 and was like, I don't want to go back to sleep. I'm afraid of what I'm going to see. I don't want to do those things. I don't want to do those things. How are you doing this morning? Jace is up in here, but probably going to sit somewhere not at the computer and just listen. That is cool. That is cool. I'm still yawning. I don't want to sleep. I hope you sleep better tonight. I hope so too. I had decided to sleep in a bit. Unfortunately, my phone started going off constantly, not even half an hour later. Yeah. Oh my goodness. Altar basics. I'm going to start reading. Is that okay? Can I do that? Altars are important to most witches, and each one is as individual as a book of shadows or a grimoire. I'm a folk witch, and my altars reflect that. In many books on Wicca, you will find detailed instructions on what tools you should have to build your altar, where it should be placed, and what should be on it. The Spiral Dance, Starhawk, describes the altar this way. The tools of a coven are usually kept on the altar, which may be anything from a hand-carved antique chest to a box covered with a cloth. When used for regular meditation and magical practice, the altar becomes charged with energy, a vortex of power. Generally, a witch's altar faces north, and the tools are placed in the corresponding directions. Imagine images of the goddess and gods, statues, shells, seeds, flowers, or a miner. take a central position. Personally, and as a folk witch, this is not how I work with altars at all. In folk witchcraft, you make an altar where you're guided to with the materials you are guided to. I'd like to mention that there's absolutely nothing wrong with creating a more ritual-based altar. This works for some witches and allows them to truly focus their energy in ways that they wouldn't be able to with chaos that is a natural folk altar. However, this is one of the most time-tested and accessible methods of creating an altar, in my opinion. Additionally, using a more folk-based method versus ritualistic method allows for the moving pieces of the altar to ebb and flow with the changing of the season. So how do you make such an altar? Well, I'm glad you asked. First, allow yourself to release the idea of what an altar should be and what should be on it. Think about your space and your purpose. Are you creating an altar to celebrate a season? Are you creating an altar for a deity? Are you creating a work altar to handle all of those topics and more? Once you have identified why you are making your altar, the fun truly begins. Let's identify a few common altars and how you would make them. Travel altars for roaming and closeted witches, seasonal altars, and general working altar. While there are many types of altars, mastering these three makes it easier to create any other kind of altar to suit your needs. There are a few questions you need to ask yourself before starting to build any kind of altar. What is important to me? What items can I incorporate what can I incorporate or symbolize that? What items can I incorporate or symbolize that? Excuse me. I'm still undercaffeinated. Do I need lots of space or a little space? Do I want to stand or sit at my altar? Will any of the items I choose need to be routinely changed out? Your answers will be unique to you and you alone. And they may change as time goes on and your needs, interests evolve. Travel altars. Travel altars are typically miniature versions of a general working altar. They allow the witch to connect back and ground themselves for their spiritual practice no matter where they are. Common items in travel altars include mini pencils, like the kind from IKEA, a piece or two of paper, matches or a small lighter, a birthday candle, a small crystal, typically quartz, bagged herbs, and a pendant of some kind. These travel altars are typically held in a candy or mint tin, mine is, but have occasionally been seen in larger containers such as shoe boxes if it is just a working altar for a closeted witch. I like to pack my altar in a makeup bag I got out of the dollar bin at Target. Included in it are the following items: a mini Polaroid picture, a lighter, cone incense, a tea candle, salt packets, and a quartz angel statue. Also, while it's not technically in my travel altar, I always carry a deck of tarot cards in my purse or backpack. There's no right or wrong way to make a travel altar, and they're super fun to assemble. Seasonal altars. There are two primary ways to make a seasonal altar: indoors or outdoors. I think that creating a seasonal altar outdoors lends an extra element of connection with the energy of the earth, but I also recognize that this is not always feasible or accessible for every witch. If an outdoor altar is possible for you, wonderful. If it isn't, an indoor altar, oh, that's a typo. An indoor altar will work just fine. Seasonal altars can be made to celebrate the literal season, or they can be made and changed with each turn of the wheel. I have a seasonal element to my altar. I decorate it depending on the season. Currently, there are a fall leaf garden, autumn leaf garden, garland. Goodness, I can't speak this morning. I can't speak this morning. Outdoor altars. I would love to do an outdoor altar in my backyard. That'd be nice. Then I can have a ritual fire and I'll just have to pack everything in a bag and take it out whenever it's not something that I would have up permanently. I might leave the table out there, but I need the right table. When creating an outdoor seasonal altar, start by closing your eyes and allowing the energy of your surroundings to flow through you. Where are you called to place this altar? When you find the spot, look around. Are there any rocks or pieces of wood or naturally carved out spots that seem like natural places for an altar? If this is a temporary altar that you will be packing up when you leave, you can use any supplies that you brought in, such as tables, cloths, statues, candles, etc. If you are crafting a more permanent altar to last through the season, you can return to again and again. It is best to use the material that nature has supplied to prevent damage to the space you are in. Hi, Raven. Catch me waiting to take a piss test. Oh, geez. I haven't had to take a piss test in a very, very long time. I'm taking a quick break. Let's see, where did I leave off? Okay, indoor altars. When creating an indoor altar, all bets on decoration are off. I recommend setting up a seasonal altar in or near a windowsill that faces east or west. That way, this can be a place of peace and reflection during either the birth or death of the day. Currently, I have a seasonal altar that is mounted to the wall with my windowsill. Your materials and the size of the altar will depend on what you'll use the altar for. General seasonal offerings, sabbats, or a mix of seasons. For me, this altar only acknowledges the 4 major seasons: autumn, winter, spring, and summer, plus Samhain and Yule. It is decorated with fresh seasonal flowers, 7-day prayer candles that match the season, black or orange in autumn, red or blue in winter, pink or green in spring, and red or yellow in summer. Art from various pagan artists depicting the gods and goddesses, a grapevine pentacle. I don't know what a grapevine pentacle is. A pentacle made out of grapevines, maybe? Apparently I was supposed to do this yesterday. They sent the paperwork after I had already left work, so they sent me today. Now I'm stuck waiting for an hour and a half for the tester to show up because this wasn't planned for today. No blanket fort today. I had to take it down because this week we're putting up the Christmas tree. And then we cannot have the Christmas tree and the blanket fort. There is not enough space for such. So today I'm going to take this. There's this pile of stuff here that is my blanket fort, and that's going to have to go upstairs. My mom's room acts as storage while she's gone. But the next blanket fort will probably be in February, because I usually do a Galentine's Day thing where I watch horror movies and I hang Valentine's Day decorations, and I have a blanket fort. Though this one lasted a really long time. I don't normally let it stay up that long. Usually it's about a week. Yay, Christmas. Good morning, Eva. Good morning, Laura. I don't think I've seen you on my stream before, but it's good to see you. You are welcome here. We're not doing sprints. We're just reading a book. Just reading a book. Let's see. Decorative with seasoned flowers. Da, 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 da. And typically books. Yes. I would love a room where I can put just my altar and magic stuff, like my books and stuff. Already got all my monsters Christmas presents already. I don't technically celebrate Christmas, but I have a lot of friends who have birthdays in December, and also family. So and they celebrate Christmas. So I have to buy like 2 presents for everybody. This is not an altar where I specifically petition for things, so unless I am working on an active spell, there aren't any offerings, since it is a common area of my house, and I have pets who will eat the things. General working altars. Working altars are typically extremely anti-aesthetic and hidden in a private area of the home. They are what most people assume a witch's altar is based on fiction. This type of altar is typically built on a shelf, desk, or table, and may include items such as books, journals, chalices, athames, or athame. I never know how to pronounce that word. So, crystals, candles, statues, photos, money, trinkets, offerings, or decorations. This is a place where a witch can come to connect with their ancestors, guides, higher powers, and themselves. The work done on these altars can be introspective, i.e. shadow work. Abby the bot. Productive, i.e. manifestations, or baneful in nature. Laura doesn't like Christmas, but husband loves it, so I celebrate because of him mostly. I haven't done any of my Christmas shopping yet. My husband's birthday is December 20th, which is, I think the 20th or the 21st is the longest night, or the winter solstice or Yule. My son turns 3 on the 5th. We're done with birthday shopping, but holiday shopping hasn't started, though we don't shop for many. Yeah. Hercule Poirot is awesome, though. Yes, I agree. But I bet you dollars to donuts, Abby will not tell us more about, Hercule Poirot's Christmas. I didn't know she was a bot. Makes sense now. Yeah. Yeah. What is up with my light balancing? What's going on here? What is going on here? Because my back light is stronger than my front light. Working altars do require the most maintenance out of the various types of altars we've gone over. They need to be cleaned regularly to show respect to ourselves and the spirits we work with. Perishable offerings need to be changed and replenished often. Candles need to be replaced when they have run their course, and spell work needs to be disposed of. As a side note, one of the most common questions that beginner witches have when first starting out is to find out what to do with spell remains. There are various ways to dispose of a spell once it is finished with at your altar. You can bury it, leave it at a crossroads, or throw it away. Depending on the type of spell, you might consider doing one of the first options before you choose the trash, as there is a good chance you will not want those spell remains lingering around your house or property for any prolonged period of time. To sum it all up, an altar is what you make of it. Christians refer to their body as a temple, and this isn't necessarily wrong. No matter where you are, the connection to spirit is there within you. All you have to do is reach out. I don't know. It's summer solstice in December here in Brazil. I always celebrate the Sabbath. Right on. The longest day. The longest day. Manifestation and abundance. If you're a budget witch, you understand the importance of a good abundance manifestation without needing to be told. I've been working with and modifying my bare bones abundance ritual for years now and have found that this budget-friendly setup is good for the wallet while maintaining the integrity of the magic. When we manifest anything, it is because we are looking to gain or change something. Manifesting abundance is no different, except that it requires us to look at what we already have been blessed with before we will be given more. If you come from a place of me, your abundance rituals will always fail. Abundance requires us to see, appreciate, and be grateful for the things we are blessed with to have before we will be given more. In this way, receiving in abundance is a lot like a Thanksgiving. We bless ourselves with more blessings and allow the universe to bestow additional blessings on top. A simple abundance ritual. Simplified rituals are some of the most powerful and abundant rituals that there are. They are a reminder for witches of every level that we really can change our reality with little more than a power of our mind. You will need your imagination, a pen and paper, candle is optional, and your altar. Before beginning any ritual, I like to take a few minutes to quiet my mind and focus. Meditation opens your mind to accept your spirit and merges your conscious mind with your subconscious mind. Allow yourself about 10 minutes to focus and center. This will ensure that you have the proper attention to create what you're trying to manifest, and it allows your mind and spirit to reset from being digitally and physically connected to anything other than the intentions you're about to set. After calming your mind and calling in your energy and spirit, it is time to focus that energy. The easiest way to do this is by lighting a candle. Under the light of the candle, with a reset and focused energy, visualize all the abundance currently in your life. Abundance could look like a stocked pantry, a living room full of friends and family, a college degree, a library full of resources. Write down each of your abundances individually. Once you've completed the list, one at a time, say each blessing out loud. Thank the universe for the blessings in your life and burn the list in the candle's flame. Next, you will manifest future abundance. This part is especially important to stay focused for. Do not allow doubts or fears to gain traction as you work through the visualization of your future. Fear has no place here. Close your eyes and visualize what abundance will look like in your life. Wealth, health, family, career. Whatever it is, visualize yourself in it. What are you doing? How do you feel? How did you get here? The more vivid your manifestation, the more powerful it will be. So there is something called the perfect life, which I might actually implement come this next year, where in the beginning of your planner, in this case it would be my Bujo, and probably my Book of Mirrors, you do exactly as it says. You imagine yourself in what your perfect day would look like. What if all your dreams came true and you had everything you ever wanted, what would that day look like? And you write that down in your planner, Book of Mirrors, whatever, something that you look at every day. And you refer to it at least once a year, ideally a little more than that, which is why it's in your planner. It's why it's in your Book of Mirrors. And subconsciously, you start to look towards the things that would get you there. Whenever I think, how did I get here? I think of Once in a Lifetime by Talking Heads. This is a cool practice. Yeah. I guess I should finish reading it, huh? Once you are done visualizing this abundance, write the scene on a piece of paper, beginning with the phrase, I am. For example, I am surrounded by an abundance of friends who support me. I am financially self-sufficient and comfortable in my lifestyle. Next, fold the paper 3 times and set it in the flames. As it burns, close your eyes and continue to visualize your manifestation. If you aren't using any tools, you can visualize a candle in your mind's eye and keep a mental list of your blessings. Allow the images of your blessings to approach and vanish with the flame when the time comes. Again, if you're only visualizing this blessing, allow the images to approach the candle in your mind until they vanish. So that's basically a witchy version of the perfect day or perfect life. At this point, I don't even know what I would wish for. Probably continue doing my money spells, which means I need to get off my ass and actually get some work done. I asked for abundance and I got a settlement out of an accident that I was in. My husband wants me to save the money, but I want to spend it on books. All right, new chapter. The spiritual garden. Your garden, regardless of the form it takes, is the visible symbol of your commitment to making room for the spirit in everyday life. Peg Street, spiritual gardening. All right, go to the store, Allie. Go do the things. I have always thought that a garden is the perfect metaphor for life. Nearly every part of the garden can reflect the various stages of our physical, emotional, intellectual, and spiritual lives. On a physical level, gardens are typically started by seed or bulb, and the seed germinates and grows. As time goes on, the seed becomes a plant. The plant produces and reproduces, and eventually it dies or goes into a reduced state for winter. However, I find that gardens really reverberate with humans when we look at them on an emotional and intellectual level. Emotionally, intellectually, and spiritually, we all grow from seed. We are on a quest to grow, to thrive, and we seek the sun. We chase what sustains us, and sometimes we have bumps along the way. With neglect, it is all too easy for our gardens to become overgrown with weeds. These weeds can look like negative habits, toxic surroundings, self-hate, or doubt. Weeds, when left unchecked, can overtake a once thriving and beautiful garden. The weeds of negativity are not easy to tame. There is a very real and prevalent spiritually bypassing dialogue. I think they mean spirituality, bypassing dialogue, in the witchcraft community that says there is no room for negativity. Ooh, we're talking about toxic positivity. Ooh. We need to be loved. We need to be love and light 24/7. However, those of us who are grounded know this is neither possible nor healthy. A healthy mind stays rooted in what is real and processes one's thoughts and feelings without the lens of guilt that love and light often brings with it. Weeding the garden of our soul is time-consuming, hard, and absolutely worth the effort. Soul planting. Gardening to the witch should be purely a physical experience, but a soul-deep reaction. It is where we give ourselves freely to the earth, and the earth gives itself, its bounty, and its energy back to us. In this way, the relationship between the gardener and their garden is much more spiritually in tune. Including our garden in our daily spiritual practice takes it out of the realm of chores and puts it in the realm of enlightenment. Before you begin working on planning and planting, you will need to take a good look at your overall goals for your garden. Well-tended gardens become a sacred space, a place where you can retreat from the noise and pressure of technology in daily life. When you think about your garden, what images come to mind? Do you see tons of bright flowers, vegetables and fruits, or lots of lettuces and herbs? If you don't have a green thumb or the ideal gardening space, don't worry. There are going to be times for a variety of reasons you can't have a traditional garden, or perhaps you live in an apartment and can only have access to a patio. I've been gardening for more than 10 years, and I've found some techniques that really work for all types of gardening. And no matter the size of the space, someone who is dedicated to growing can truly flourish no matter the situation if they put their mind to it. Regardless of size, space, or climate, every witch has the ability to make their own sanctuary. Whether you have a windowsill, a patio, a backyard, or acres, you are able to make any space your own. When planning for a spiritual garden, there are some important factors that will help you build and grow your space in a conscious and sustainable manner. Planning. When you're first setting out a plan, grab a notebook to write down notes for current and future use. To begin, where do you think you could grow your garden? So I can't really grow the kinds of plants that I want in my current yard. Oh, look, it's the Empress of Worms. I am the Empress of Worms. You found me out, you rat bitch. I'm at work, so popping in to say hi and to drop a like. Thank you. It's good to see you, QWERTY. Also, your video was super funny. Oh, stretchy, stretchy. We're going to talk about planning. I think she's stating the obvious by saying write it down in a notebook. I think that's a thing. Physically go to that space and see how you feel in it. While you are there, take a look at where the sun is in relation to the time and where you would want to put your plants. The sun has a large role in the overall success of a witch's garden. Too much or too little sunlight could stunt the growth of an otherwise healthy plant. Taking the morning, noon, and afternoon sun into consideration, as well as where the shade hits for microclimates, will allow for a better planned witch's garden. Are there any existing plants where you want to grow your garden? Would you want to incorporate these plants or remove or relocate them? So my domain has it's got acres and acres of forest. And within that forest, like at the base of the mountain, that is my domain. I have basically like a witch's garden, and I have an altar, which is basically just a big stone slab. There's nothing on it. And you can fit 2 people on it if you so desire. And around the bathtub, I have a bathtub, a clawfoot bathtub in my garden. And I have basically just a bunch of poisonous plants. Beautiful plants, but poisonous nonetheless. But they're pretty. But they're pretty. Are there any existing plants where you want to grow your garden? What would you want to incorporate these plants or remove or relocate them? Most importantly, consider which element your spirit connects to the most. With which element do you feel most confident and comfortable? This is important because it can help determine what kind of garden you build and how you build it in order to invoke certain elements. For example, I am drawn to fire, so I plant a lot of red, orange, and yellow flowers to invoke warmth and passion. I don't think of it that way. I guess you could. Okay, weird. I didn't realize you were here. Getting ready to head off work, popping in for a bit, dropping a like. Thank you, darling. It's good to see you. Next, decide what type of garden to build and grow for your life and spirit. There are many options, such as Tranquility Garden if you feel as though you are often overstimulated. There are healing gardens where you can grow herbs for the physical and spiritual body. Or perhaps a meditation garden where you can go to at any time of day and just sit. Additionally, you can have a god or goddess garden that connects to the spirits of the land, and your ancestors, your guides, and your gods. There are also aromatherapy gardens, which have different plants for the purposes of creating incense and resins. This type of garden has proved especially useful to me personally, as I connect to it in its practical uses for spiritual and mental health purposes. Have a great day, everyone, popping in before or during work. Yes, definitely that. Definitely that. Container gardens, which is, I have a combination of container gardens and gardens, like ground gardens. Or trellis gardens. There are tons of containers that you can turn into pots, but it's important to make sure whatever you choose has proper drainage. Closed bottom pots are known to cause many issues such as poor drainage and root rot. The leading cause of root rot with indoor plants has everything to do with overwatering and using closed bottom pots. I love using old yogurt containers and egg cartons to start my seeds indoors because they are small and easy to replant. I tend to get my eggs at Trader Joe's, which have containers that are for the most part biodegradable, so I don't have to worry about pulling my little seedling out of its container prematurely. It is important to think about future transplanting because if seedlings are moved too early, it may shock them, which could cause death. I like to leave my containers outdoors whenever possible for direct sun exposure as well as fresh air and rainwater. Living in South Florida, we get a lot of rain, which is awesome, but also somewhat stressful for planting conditions. There is not only humidity, but also rain, leading to moist soil conditions. This is another instance where good drainage is key to plant health. Another positive benefit of container gardening is that you don't actually have to work with the season that you're in. I think there's more typos in that sentence. While I do highly recommend gardening intuitively based on the season around you, I recognize that might not always be possible. Growing your plants in containers allows you to garden during more extreme conditions, such as a deep winter or a deep summer. All of the best plants for witchcraft can be grown through containers exclusively, regardless of season. Starting your herbs from seed that you've grown yourself not only allows your energy and magic to touch the plants that you're going to be using, but it allows your magic to transcend levels through your spell work that you didn't even know you could reach. Ten more minutes. How long is this? Oh, it's got like different kinds of plants that you can Outdoor gardening. When planning your outdoor garden, the most important factor is your specific climate. Different regions have different climates, so it's important to dive deeper than just the 4 basic seasons. Plants also have different needs for sun, water, shade, soil, and nutrients. The easiest way to learn about your specific climate and determine which plants will thrive there is to look up your hardiness zone. Hardiness zones were developed by the United States Department of Agriculture and include 13 zones that range by temperature scale. Through the years, other hardiness schemes have been developed and adopted for other parts of the globe, but the USDA scale is the most common. Equally important to planning a successful outdoor garden is looking at various environmental factors, including soil type, soil moisture and drainage, humidity, nutrients, light, temperature, and duration of exposure to extreme heat or cold. Oh, that's a shame. Yes, The Shining by Stephen King. What about it? Another bot. At least I'm assuming so. When it is time to sit down and plan an outdoor garden sanctuary, it is a good idea to look back at your earlier notes about your ideas, senses, and elemental preferences. When it is time to decide a method of attack that is not only effective but efficient, do you want to start from seed or seedling? If from seed, are you starting indoors in accordance with your zone, or are you waiting late enough into the season to avoid frost for direct sowing? Personally, I grow a small garden in my patio and front walkway. And the number of plants I keep is fairly small, so I tend to buy seedlings that have been started already. There are 2 main reasons for this. First, they are more economical. And second, a seedling already has a leg up with a healthy start from the nursery. Take a look at all of the plants you would like to grow this season. On the back of the seed packet, make sure to review the sun, soil, and watering requirements. If a plant calls for partial shade, it is typically a good idea to give morning sun versus afternoon sun, as the afternoon sun can often be too harsh for sensitive plants. Looking through the requirements, you get to make the choice of surface planting, raised bed planting. I did raised beds. Hill planting or mound planting. If you decide to go with surface planting methods, you can choose between single, double, or any type of row planting scheme that your heart desires. As a word of wisdom, it is easier to maintain and care for 2 shorter rows rather than 1 long, single, continuous one. Surface planting with rows is probably the quickest and easiest method for a new gardener and requires little expertise. Planting the seeds directly into the soil after the last frost, then weed, water, and watch your garden grow. Practical intuition in the garden. Right? Earlier, we went over the practical applications of intuition, but the garden is one of the most useful places to pull out that intuitive toolkit. Plants can be tricky, and every now and again, everyone has questions and doubts. Did I overwater? Underwater? Are my plants lacking nutrients? How can I keep pests from eating my plants? The practical use of our intuition is not only necessary, it is required. There is no time more relevant for the practical use of intuition. Through time, practice, and trial and error, you will learn what works and what does not. In spiritual gardening, it is important to use the tools that your intuition is calling for. Don't worry about what anyone in real life on the internet has to say. Follow your guidelines for individual path and space. And the more you pay attention to this, the sooner your crafted space will manifest before your eyes. I do have some space in my front yard that I kind of want to do something with. I'm just not sure what I want to do with it. Flowers, maybe. Not poisonous ones, just pretty ones. Right now it's just a patch of grass, but I could use it for plants. Time for spell work. Correspondence building. When first beginning to use plants and herbs magically, it is common to lean on literature for guidance. You could do a quick search and find information on tons of common plants, or go to the library or local bookstore and check out books on green witchcraft. I actually have a book on green witchcraft. I might read it someday. However, what these books don't teach you is how to figure out information for yourself. Say you come across a plant, search for it, and see that no correspondences have been written about it. You wonder, can this be used magically? The answer is a resounding yes. Just because you can't find an official source on the magical uses for a particular plant doesn't mean that it doesn't serve a purpose both practically and magically. The internet is not the be-all, end-all of witchcraft, nor it is the endpoint of information for our journey. There are a few things to look at when you first start to decode a plant, or any material for magic use, really. The basics to this is the theory. Let me try this again. The basics to this theory are that the witch follows a set of general guidelines to get them to the point of understanding. There's a checklist I like to use when I start working with a new plant or material. The name of the material, the size, the color, where to get it, and then miscellaneous questions about the plant. Like, what type of plant is it? Like the family, the genus. Is it poisonous? Research this answer if you aren't certain. Is it native? Is it edible? Again, research this answer if you are uncertain. Is it flowering? How healthy does it appear to be? How is it used? Possible uses could be medicinal, food, or cleaning. How is it used magically? How will I use it magically? How do I feel when I'm working with it? By answering a few basic questions, as many as you can, you'll get a good feeling for the plant or material before you start working with it. This knowledge will allow you to intuitively use materials that benefit and strengthen your overall goal. So usually if you look up like books of shit. Let me try this again. If you look up Book of Shadows pages that you can download and stuff, plant pages are easily the easiest pages to find. And I have, I moved it. I have similar pages in my, we were at 8. I have an appointment today at 9:45, so I started early today. It's Tuesday, so if I go at all, I am early. So we talked about altars. We talked about gardening. Is there anything left? We talk about... So the next section talks about growing cannabis, growing snapdragons, growing sponge gourds. I was here at 7. Ha ha ha, you future folk and your future talk. But we have 4 minutes left. I figure we can use it to chat. So because I can't have my witch's garden in the backyard, because the summers will kill it, the winters will kill it, I have a witch's garden in my domain, and the weather never changes in my domain. Good morning, by the way. I hope your day is going magnificent so far, and stays that way. Hooray! I think today is spa day. I think today is spa day. Oh, it is technically 9 a.m. I guess I should. So the word stitch is going right now. If you're looking for sprints. All right, get going. Have a great day. Do your thing, babe. And do the hell out of it. Do your thing and do the hell out of it. I gotta pull out a brush. I have 2 books that would be... One that would be a hedge writing journal, but I've been doing my hedge writing stuff in both my Book of Mirrors and on my iPad, like all fancy and illuminated and stuff. I was up at 8, but went back to sleep. No problem. Have a lovely day. Spotting group meditations. Yes, by the way, 3 o'clock today on the Discord server, I will be guiding everyone through the 4 elements with our friend Blue, who is a tulpa. So if you are interested in that, check out the Discord. And you'll notice there is a ritual and meditations voice channel. So I'll be in there at 3 o'clock. And I'll probably wait like 10 minutes for people to show up. It's probably a thing we'll do. All right. Thank you for joining me. I'll see you guys at 3 o'clock. Catch you on the flip side.